what we are going to do today is to hear from 4 of the scale-ups that have been through the first batch, the experiences from working with Stadiem and where you got to and the results already achieved. And first up on the stage, I have the pleasure to invite Vincent Defour. He's the CEO and co-founder of Trensition, an AI-driven strategic intelligence company that enables decision-making to remain competitive and relevant in the world of tomorrow. So, Vincent, please join me up on stage.
Yeah, so hello everybody. Indeed, I'm Vincent. Thank you for the introduction. I'm co-founder, CEO of Trensition. And I'm actually happy to be here again on this stage because, like you said, we did the match phase, we did the development phase, we did the integration phase, and are now starting the pilot phase. And the last time when I was here on stage, we actually won the startup contest, which made me really happy. And I also got a gift. It was an authentic Norwegian sweater. It was too small for me, but my wife was really happy about it during wintertime in Belgium. She wore it a lot, actually. So, but I'm actually here to talk a little bit about Trensition and our role in the Stadiem program, where we are today. First of all, Trensition, we're a B2B AI-driven company. We're from Belgium, from Ghent. We actually exist a little bit more than 2 years from now. And what we do is we monitor, we analyze, and we predict all kinds of trends which impact companies. And usually when I attend these events, the reason that you're all here is because you want to learn something. You want to learn something new about, in your case, the future of media. And this is exactly our core value proposition. We want to show you what that future looks like. And we do that by monitoring, analyzing, and predicting all kinds of trends which impact media companies. And this was exactly also our value proposition within the Stadiem program, because we saw that the media industry was heavily disrupted. We saw for us a new vertical, and we understood that by mapping this media industry, we could add a lot of value to media companies, people working in strategy, in boardrooms, in management, and so on. And this is exactly what we've done. We've actually collaborated with 2 corporate partners, SWR, a German broadcaster, and Roularta Media Group, which is a publishing company in Belgium. And we've actually created something new, something that doesn't exist in the market today. And to give you an idea of what it is, our methodology is AI-driven. So before I tell you what the solution is, I just want to give you a little bit heads up of the methodology that we use. First of all, what we do is we monitor global news. We monitor global data sources, because we understand that if you can monitor the internet, you can probably try to analyze what's happening in the real-life world, because these two are communicating barrels. So what we're doing is that we're monitoring a lot of data. Academic data, what's happening at universities, business data, what businesses are doing, mass media news, societal news, all these kinds of sources where we can find stuff about trends, about innovation, about how it's impacting companies. And this is what we do. We scan this open big data, and we have our own proprietary trend analytics, which is mostly NLP AI technology that we use to contextualize all those news articles. We need to know, what is it about? Where can we find the trends? Is it about a trend in an industry? Can we link it back to a company? Can we link it back to a new product creation, a new business model? These are the kinds of insights that we're looking for in all that data. And then we use machine learning to predict and forecast how all these trends will evolve into the future. And all this is tailored to a specific company. So the insights that we provide is not one size fits all. It's tailored to the specific context of a company, which could be an industry vertical that you're active in. It could be linked to ecosystem that you're thriving in, or specific regions in the world. And all these insights are packed and tailored specifically for you. So to give you a little bit an idea of what the challenge is, Nick, which is an innovator from Roularta Media Group, he says that our AI-based technology helps them tremendously to identify those trends that will impact their business so that they can stay competitive in the future. In fact, he says it's a huge strategic benefit to them. And if I ask our other corporate partner, which is Florian Smith from SWR, who works in strategy, he even calls it essential to their business to be able to go from reaction, so knowing which trends are impacting them, to action, being able to anticipate and being able to stay competitive in this highly fast-changing world, especially in the media industry, where you're all fighting for the small time that consumers spend on your channels. So what we've done is we've actually created, based on all this methodology, all this AI, all this big data, all these forecasting methodologies, we've actually automated it and built a strategic intelligence platform. And this strategic intelligence platform, we've actually have two solutions on it, one for each corporate partner, which is really tailored to their specific needs. For instance, SWR wants to learn more about long-term strategy. What are emerging trends that will impact the media industry within 5 or 10 years from now? While Roularta is more interested in the short term. What are new product innovations? What are new business models? What are consumers doing the next couple of years so that they know how to fuel their innovation funnels? So two specific use cases. And this is all built into this solution where we have about 150 trends in general that we're monitoring. It has to do with themes like you see on the slide, audio, the future of video, the future of data, advertising, consumer change. Sustainability is also an important topic for both. And these are all trends that we're monitoring continuously for both companies. And if you would like to know what you can find or which questions that we answer with this platform, the main strategic answers that we provide is what trends are impacting you as a company, how hard are they hitting you, meaning what's the strength of the signal that we can find within your context, how fast are these emerging, and when will it hit you and how hard will it hit you, so that we can forecast and give you an action suggestion, which basically tells you, for this trend, you need to act upon it today, or you can still wait a little bit, it's still emergent. And what you can do is we see this and this and this from an inspirational perspective. We see your competitors starting new businesses with it, new products, new services. There's a new business model appearing somewhere in another industry that might affect your industry. And these are all the answers that we're giving with this platform. And it's not a crystal ball. It's not like we're just saying, these are the trends, this is how they're hitting you, this is what you should do with it. We can really transparently show you deep insights about each and every one of these trends, show you the hard data behind it, show you the charts, how do they evolve historically, how will they evolve into the future, what's happening in different regions, what's happening in different industries, all packed into this specific platform. And considering that we're monitoring global news, this feature, this personalized news feature, allows you to stay on top of whatever is hitting you, whatever is impacting you, and get personalized news feeds. So we only show you the relevant news if you're interested in a couple of these trends. We can really filter out the cases, the news articles that you find interesting. And during the course of Stadium, we've actually identified a couple of use cases. It's all about not replacing human decision. It's all about augmenting human decision making. And our 3 use cases that we've identified are on a strategic level. So whenever you're working in strategy, your work is about policy making, is about strategic research, long-term strategic planning. We can really add value to that case. If you're more in innovation, so you need to fuel innovation funnels, you're an open innovation manager who scouts the outside world, then we can help you. Or if you're in corporate development, strategic sales, whatever roles that are under that hood, we can help you explore new markets. We can help you see what your competitors are doing from an innovation perspective, and so on. So these are really 3 distinct use cases where the platform that we've developed is really the sweet spot of everything. So I see that I have 1 minute and 40. I just want to end up by showing you my credentials. If you're interested in this, if you want to learn more, I'm actually willing to give you some discount on the platform if the request came from this Future Week event. So I'm Vincent. Our company is called Trensition with an E, as you can see. You can go to the website and fill out a contact form and contact me. So thank you very much for your attention, and happy to be here again.
It's very good to have you back, Vincent. You were a star last time you visited us, so it's great to have our winners back on stage again. So now, next, we have Aaron from Tinkerlist. There you are, of course. Yeah, that's where you're supposed to wait for the signal. That's right. Head of Business Development at Tinkerlist, a cloud-based planning, scripting, rundown, automation tool, and aimed at enabling remote production, automating media production, and driving down costs. That's, yeah, something like that? Yeah, okay. Well, welcome to the stage, Aaron.
Didn't upload his presentation before because I made it at 5:30 this morning, so we'll see how it goes. So bear with me. Good start. There you go. Can you guys see it on that screen as well? Perfect. So today, what I'm going to present is very simple. The entire process that we did with Stadiem. So first of all, big thanks to Stadiem for having me here as well. Thank you, Media City Bergen as well. And also a big thank you to our media partners, which are VRT News and DPG Media, who believed in our project, in our concept of the one-man band. Now, if you don't know these companies, VRT News is the national broadcaster of Belgium. DPG Media is the biggest commercial broadcaster and publisher in Belgium. Now, before I go further as well, Tinkerlist, we do 3 things. 1, we do planning. 2, we make scripting and rundown. And 3, we do automations. And it's the automation part that's very important to this presentation. Something that you all might have noticed as well is that online 24/7 news channels seem to spring up every day. There is a new one every day. Every traditional broadcaster makes a new online news channel. It's as if that's the new hype. Well, why? Why is that happening? Well, first of all, big broadcasters have noticed that if they want more viewers and more subscriber engagement, that they should hop on that train. Also, they want to be the reliable source of information online 24/7, because if you're not showing it, someone else is. And they want to bring the news as it happens. Today, in the times of social media, you don't want to wait till the evening news or till tomorrow to know that Johnny Depp has won the case of Amber Heard. You need to know it now. So you need to create more online content very fast in news, sports, entertainment, celebrity news, you name it. So we were actually 2 people, Thomas van Praat from VRT News and Sim van Vlem, they approached us and they said, listen, we want to make a lot of news very fast, very flexible, but we have a problem. For VRT News, it was they have huge galleries, like the ones they have here at TV2. But in the weekend, if there are not enough operators, they cannot make the news. There's some vital person missing to push it to the broadcast. At DPG Media, they had another problem. They had a lot of people who worked there during the weekend even, but they were not experts. So if you want to automate a show, you need something that's very flexible and very idiot-proof, let's say. So we had to solve that problem. We had to create news fast with small teams. How do you do that? Well, we wanted to evolve from big galleries with big crews where operators do all the work to very small studios, with very friendly software, idiot-proof software, where everything is automated and the automation takes care of all the complex handlings. You let technology do the work instead of letting operators do all of the work. So for the VRT News, we created a web studio where everything was automated, where you could make news with 1 journalist and 1 operator. For DPG Media, we went even further. You had 1 journalist who made the content, who presented it, and was also the operator. Now, how does that exactly work? For that, I'm going to have to show you a very quick video, but I'll explain it very briefly. We made a template. In that template, a journalist puts the video he wants to show. He puts the content that he wants to read off a prompter. He puts the stills, the lower thirds, the straps. Then, when the presenter walks into the studio, they press spacebar, a video starts playing. They press spacebar, an interview session starts. They press spacebar, a segment ends. And everything is automated. The camera switching is based on sound. The cameras are scripted beforehand. Everything is run from Tinkerlist from the rundown. So how does that look? If you look at this video, everything you see from the opening scene, that's from Tinkerlist. The text that you see at the top, that's filled out before in the template. The presenter is in full control. Now she presses spacebar, we go to interview mode. Then the auto director takes over, and then when she stops speaking, it switches to the other person. So as you can tell, this makes it very easy to make shows and news very, very, very fast, because you only need one person to monitor the web, fill out the template, and then you can just walk into the studio straight away. So we developed all of that for DPG Media and VRT News, but they came back with one remark. The technical team needs more control over the setup. What does that mean? Well, for the journalists, we made an interface where they can put in all the information. For the operators, we made an interface where they can see all the graphics, all the medias, all the textual information. But we didn't have an interface for the technical team. The technical team, very often, they work in schematics. When they want to make automations, they have to connect this node to that port to this port. So what we had to build was a front end for the technical operators, so that you can evolve from hard coding stuff to a very visual layout, so that you can connect everything very smoothly. So we set out to build a backend, a front end, and the UX for an automation configuration. What does that mean? Well, today in the platform, again, this is a mock-up. This will be finished by end of July. You can connect, you can see all the files, all the plugins, all the software and hardware that you have in the studio, and which one are online. And then later, you can connect via Boolean terms all the automations that you want to build. So for example, let's say you have video in your content, then you say, if video is there, play out via vmix. If graphic is there, play out via singular live. If text is there, play out via prompter. All of that you can very easily build in an entire visual automation engine. So how does Thinkerless itself work? We have an automator engine, which is connected to all the devices. We pull data from the cloud, and the same data from the cloud is also pushed to the interface. So what the journalist is seeing, what the operator is seeing, what the technical operator is seeing, is the same as what the machine is doing. So everything has one single source of truth. Now, Thinkerless itself has an open API. It's completely documented in Swagger. So that means that there is no limit. There is an infinite amount of software and hardware that you can connect Thinkerless to. So if you want to connect it to vmix, be my guest. If you want to connect it to EVS, XT, be my guest. TriCaster, ATM, VizRT, everything's possible. So that means that every show can be built with the devices that you decide upon. You're no longer stuck to what an integrator tells you that you have to buy. Now, for the Stadiem project itself, I explained to you in the development and integration phase, we did the journalist interface, the operator interface, the technical interface. Now we're finishing the technical interface, and in August we will give training to the people at VRT News, which will be completely operational by end of August, and then we will do an assessment in September. Now this is also an opportunity for you guys, because I'm very open to feedback, so if you think there are some features or items that we must build into it, please tell me. I have a listening ear for you guys. So, what's next? Very briefly, what is the one-man band? You create complex shows with one operator or without any operator, where the presenter is the operator. You can switch from one show to the other on the click of a button. You're device agnostic. You choose the software and the hardware. You have no heavy integrator work because all the automation work is very visual. And you can simplify the workflow for non-experts and experts alike. And of course, automation. Speed is the name of the game. Today, by the way, this one-man band concept, as we call it, is already being used at a wide variety of shows. So it's used in a basic or a full form at companies like BBC, ITV, Channel 4, at a lot of national broadcasters, but also at esports, at regular sports companies like IMG, but also universities like the University of Salford, of London, and a lot of online channels and production companies. Even for live event companies, this would work very, very well. So lastly, we applied for the IBC Innovation Awards because DPG Media went live with this on May the 30th. So guys, if you want to check it out, you can go to HLN Live and you can see an entire show that is produced by us. And we hope, of course, that the IBC Innovation Awards will be very kind to us and will select us as the winner. That's it from me. But if I have 50 seconds left. If I can go over it, I have a video that I can show. Perfect. Which will show it and explain it better than I could ever do in these 10 minutes. I'll briefly skip to a part. So everything is prepared in a template, and when you go live, the presenter presses spacebar, the opening generic starts playing, she starts talking. Everything you see on screen, the logo, the clock, the ticker at the bottom, all of that is prepared in a template before. And it's all being fed live to the screen via all the devices and hardware that's connected. She presses spacebar again, she starts playing a clip. And then with that clip is connected automatically the Moscow text, right? Again, all the sound, everything is connected. She has pressed spacebar again, the interview already pops up. And then, when she presses spacebar again, takes a while, presses spacebar again, then she will switch to interview mode. And again, the interview mode is based on her auto director, so you can switch between her and the presenter very easily. So a show, very easy, no longer a need for a huge crew. You can just go ahead. So, that's Tinkerlist. If you guys have any questions, or if you want to see any material, or you want any more examples and case studies from any industry that we work with, feel free to drop me a line. That's aaron@tinkerlist.tv. Make no mistake, it's Tinkerlist, not Tinderlist, not Tinkerbell, not Thinkerlist. It's Tinkerlist. All right, that's all from me. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Do I take it?
Yes. Great. Thank you so much, Aaron. It's easy to see why you made it through all the way to the piloting stages of Stadium. Fantastic. As you would expect for an event of this size, there's always someone that can't make it to Bergen, sadly. So the next we will hear from will be through that screen. And let me just do the introduction before we hear from Irina Albita, the co-founder and co-CEO of FilmChain, who's alongside Maria Tanyala, the fintech infrastructure modernizing royalty payments in film and TV from viewers to content creators. So if I'm not mistaken, we will have FilmChain with us on the screen in a few moments.
Good afternoon. We are FilmChain, and we modernize royalties management with modular enterprise solutions for corporates operating in content exploitation, from theatrical distributors to VOD aggregators, broadcasters, and studios. It's a pleasure to be here at Future Week and to talk about this incredible experience we've had for the past 12 months being part of the Stadium program and working alongside our incredible corporate partner, Alamod Film Distribution. As a way of introduction, at FilmChain, we are a team of filmmakers and technologists with backing and mentorship from industry leaders with experience at Apple iTunes, Warner Media, Imperial College London, and many more. Since 2018, FilmChain has established itself as a digital collection account management solution, supporting the indie films and the TV market to collect exploitation revenues from distributors, paying out entitlements in real time to all the stakeholders in the waterfall. Everything you see on the pink side of the screen. And here I mean sales agents, film investors, producers, talent, and crew. They get paid currently by FilmChain. We're proud to say that over 250 companies in Europe, UK, Canada, US, Australia are using our solution. But we always like a challenge. So building on our success with a digital cam and having access to the incredible support of the Stadium program, FilmChain is now taking on the enterprise market with a royalties management solution, which is the blue side of the screen. During the Stadium program, we outreached and contacted over 50 leads, initiated demo conversations with 20 of these companies, and analyzed their pain points. When talking to content distributors, we kept hearing about the same problems. Especially when they are successful, these enterprises have an ever-growing number of titles, and that means more reports need to be prepared. Distributors spend 2 hours to generate a single report, which is incompatible with working on hundreds, thousands of titles. Many still work with manual spreadsheets, and this creates a true bottleneck, and reporting to rights holders becomes ad hoc, reactive, and error-prone. And the reality is the manual is not scalable, and such a thriving industry needs automation to operate. Harsher competition for content, frequent lawsuits from talent, and the push from regulators are further consolidating the position of reporting transparency as a unique selling point for media enterprises. And we are here to change all that with our enterprise solution at FilmChain, a scalable royalties management system allowing media enterprises to automate waterfall calculations and to transparently report to rights holders, all combined with optional API integrations with the client's existing systems. Our corporate client, A La Mode, is a recognized German theatrical distributor of feature films with a catalog of over 200 titles. And the pilot with A La Mode served as a proof of concept of the FilmChain solution. And we really believe that it enables our entry into a large and growing untapped royalties management SaaS market. We had the pleasure of working alongside Tobias Lehmann, the co-CEO, who spearheaded our co-creative initiative across the whole organization and departments. FilmChain's ambition is to become the first choice platform for royalties management across enterprise and independent clients. And we are already seeing that Stadiem participation has been a springboard to expand our enterprise presence in Europe and globally. And we believe we're tapping into a very big market of over 3,792 total distributors, focusing on 111 target enterprises. And to put it in context, they spend on average 7% of profit on accounting, ERP, finance software. And that is the pool we want to be in. We feel like we right now know exactly who our ideal customer is and what their solution, what their needs are, and what they can afford to pay for our solution. And we're very pleased to announce we have signed a second client, Lumiere, content distributor in Benelux. With a lot of the funds the funds of Stadiem have only been used for development of A La Mode pilot, but the Lumiere pilot, the second pilot, allows us to test out the features outside of the sandbox. We are running a pilot with A La Mode, but we are validating results with a third party, Lumiere, which has been incredibly valuable. And I wanted to give you a bit of an overview of the past 12 months. We can say Stadiem offered us a fantastic framework guided by experts at every single step to develop the new FilmChain product for the enterprise market. We started off with the match phase right at the beginning and signed our collaboration with A La Mode. We then moved on to the develop phase, which was a very intense part of the program where we worked alongside our clients, listened to their needs, understood their day-to-day processes, worked together to define the feature lists of the product, and we created an end-to-end interactive clickable prototype by the end of the phase and received feedback and buy-in from the client, which is the most important. The integrate phase was a critical time to crystallize our technology choices, including our platform architecture, and to demonstrate that we have what it takes to go into the pilot phase with a reputable client. We work closely with A La Mode to define the pilot scope, the KPIs to measure success. And as we're now in the fourth stage, we look forward to making the public pilot a success and accelerating our go-to-market effort at the European and a global scale. One of the biggest wins for us and for the Stadiem pilot has been getting corporate commitment for the public pilot with A La Mode through a public announcement of the collaboration at the Berlinale European Film Market in a major trade publication, Screen International. This came as an exciting culmination of all the work we've done together, and the announcement mentioned the invaluable support of the program that unlocked financing of the collaboration. And we had a great pleasure just a few weeks ago to also publicly announce the news of our second client, Lumiere, during the Cannes Film Festival in a top trade press publication, Cinema Europa. So 2 cherries on top of this journey so far. There were elements of value creation throughout the process, and based on analyzing market pain points, we learned that currently generating royalties reports for a rights holder is estimated to take 2 hours, which we aim to significantly cut by 50% as our main pilot KPI. And to put it in context, for a distributor with, let's say, an average of 500 titles, it creates a time saving of 1,000 hours yearly, which equates anything between 40 to 60,000 euro in cost saving. On the film chain side, as a result of the key traction in Stadiem program, we're excited to share that we have raised an investment round at the beginning of the year to further invest in our tech and grow our commercial team to better support a la mode and new customers. And through our continuing efforts of further market exploration, we also demonstrated that the problems our solution is looking to address are not unique, but shared by industry players across the market. We're looking forward to the next stage of the process and working with a lot more content distributors in Europe and globally. We're always really excited to hear from them and to talk to them. I thank you for your attention and thank you for having us, Film Chain, at the Future Week. Thank you very much.
Isn't it wonderful to hear from someone who has set up their own company to have such great expectations of the future? That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So now we are on to our last speaker on the stage, Philip. Philip Nett, you are co-founder and CEO of Zazu, a tool that helps their users to create immersive visual experiences, publish interactive web stories across the entire customer journey and measure monthly traffic attention and so on. So the stage is yours, and what I will invite you to do, if time allows us just at the end, is if you can think about if you want to give your best advice to anyone in the room that is now in the matching phase, what would that be? And we will have a microphone also for Vincent and Aaron to ask you that same question so that we can, maybe there's some good advice for those out there in the room now. Please.
Yeah, thank you very much for the introduction. Last but hopefully not least, I'm Philip. I'm the co-founder of Zazu, and first of all, I want to join the other startups in thanking everybody, especially Stadiem, for us to have the chance to be here today and to present. And of course, we're very happy as well to have made it to the pilot stage now as one of the last startups, which is super exciting times ahead. And I want to use the next few minutes to tell you a little bit more about what it is that we do here at Zazu, what we've done over the last 12 months with Stadiem, with our corporate partner Roularta, who I've also done it with Trensition now, so they have been doing something right apparently. And what is up next for us in the next coming weeks and months, and what are the plans ahead? And what I would like to start with is a bit of background on Zazu, what it is that we're doing. And I think the best way to explain this is with the slide that I'm showing now, which is showing this undeniable shift in the user behavior that has been growing over the last couple of years. It started out on social media platforms such as Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, and what really happened here is that obviously, as you all know, content became more abundant, the attention span decreased, and so it got more and more important to make sure that the pieces of content that viewers actually see are not only great in terms of the content experience, but also in terms of the visual experience that is being generated. And the example that you see here on the slide is the same article that is once shown on social media and once on the website. Now, I agree that this is a very extreme example, but it goes to show to the fact that there is a lot of, catching up to do when it comes to the experience on websites versus the experience on social media platforms. And in general, I think if there's one thing that social media platforms have done really well is that they've shown us how a really intuitive and great user experience can and should look like. And in a nutshell, that is what we're trying to do here at Zazu. We're helping businesses bring the best aspects from social media to their own websites to take over control again of their content and monetize also the content on their websites better. How do we do that? We help them build better stories. So in a nutshell, Zazu is an end-to-end tool to create and distribute immersive story content across all different kinds of platforms. We help editors by giving them a tool to create stories directly in their native environment. They can create stories based on their own templates, own corporate identity, and customize it highly. And these stories are then not shared on social media, but they're actually shared on their own websites or their own native apps. And we've chosen web stories as the primary vehicle for this, best practices from social media, because web stories not only attract the younger generation, of course, and capture engagement much better, but they also allow us to go far beyond what social media stories are doing. Notably, they allow us to actually also monetize the content that we're putting onto the websites. We work with a lot of great publishers in Germany, and we're of course also very happy now, thanks to Stadiem, to have the opportunity to be in touch with more companies outside of the German ecosystem and see how we can also help and spread our wings to companies outside of the German ecosystem. And once again, back to a bit more to the point, to kind of visualize a bit more what it is that we're doing. I brought this example here with the German publisher called NOZ. We're working with them now for quite some time, and what you can see here is their website, and right at the top of the website you see these story bubbles that remind users to the same experience that they may know from Instagram or other social media platforms. And the idea is really to help users give a better guidance on what kind of content there is, to discover pieces and chunks of content that are all distributed across the websites easily through this story format. And what happens if the user actually clicks on one of these bubbles is, as you can see here, now from the mobile view, it will open in a full screen image, just as it would be in Instagram, and the user can then navigate through and have this immersive and very engaging experience that he would be otherwise only knowing from social media platforms. And usually at this point, when I present this, I get oftentimes the question, yeah, this looks all fantastic, but this also looks like a lot of work. We don't have the time, we don't have the resources usually to now also spend effort on another format that we have to fill out. So how are we going to do this? And this is exactly where Stadiem comes in for us, and what we've been doing over the last 12 months. We've made sure that this whole process is fully automated. So what does that mean? It means that we enable now companies with a single click to create their content article that they would create anyways and convert it into a fully valid story. We apply their templates, we apply their custom animations, their corporate identity, and we present it to them so they can have a look up, check it out before they send it out. So the entire process of creating content, curating it, inserting images, assigning text, and so on is all now automated by Zazu, and the editor really only has to do one click. Of course, has to proofread it once because human interaction is important, and can then directly publish it onto his channels. And not only that, but of course, we're helping publishers bring this format into the carousel system, so what we know and what I've just shown also from Instagram, essentially to recreate this Instagram story experience on the website and deliver a mobile-first immersive experience for the viewers. You can see it here also in the image. You have this kind of carousel that the users can click through and navigate through. And the best thing is that these stories are not only then shown on the website and offer a more engaging experience, but they actually are also searchable on Google. And that is the other key component of web stories. They help you actually not just have a higher engagement with the content that you deliver, but actually also help you make that content more reachable and more visible across Google surfaces such as Discover, News, and Showcase. To put a bit of perspective onto this, of course, I wanted to bring some numbers today to show a bit of how the companies that we've been working with have seen their results pan out. And one of the numbers that I want to draw attention to is the engagement rate. So on average, compared to traditional articles, our partners see a 12 times higher engagement rate with the content, which means that users actually interact with the content much more. They stay on the content much longer compared to traditional articles, which is a strong indicator that these web stories not only work on social media, but actually also work outside of social media. Just to give you a quick overview of how this tool that we're building and that we've built looks like. This is how the dashboard looks like. You'll notice that it's rather cleaned up. We put high emphasis on the user experience. That is really the core of what we're doing here, to make it as intuitive and as easy as possible for the users to really navigate through the software, which is also why we won last year the Red Dot Design Award for the best user interface. And this year we're also nominated for the German Design Award for the best user interface again. So this is something that we really take pride in, and something that is really important to us, because we want to make sure that it's not an extra hassle, not an extra burden, but it is really easy and intuitive for anybody of any skill level to navigate the software. Of course, I have to talk about the impact of Stadiem that this program has had on our development, and it's really been a very, very big impact over the last 12 months. We've partnered up with Roularta, as I mentioned initially, and delivered 2 game-changing features for our software. The first one I already mentioned, which is the automation component that will really emphasize creating content, creating stories with just 1 click. And the second one is a mobile SDK, which allows us not only to bring these stories to the websites and web apps, but also to the native iOS and Android apps, also directly with 1 click. So we can really streamline the entire chain of creation all the way to distribution down to only a very few clicks, and really make this whole format accessible in the first place. Secondly, we gained a lot of interesting and great partners and generated a lot of leads outside of Germany, which is super interesting to us, of course, because getting a foot into the door is always super, super beneficial, and has helped us really spark some great conversations and generate some great leads. And last but definitely not least, we have a huge integration coming up with a German social media platform called Facelift that would have not been possible without Stadiem. Of course, it's important to say that our partner Roularta is ready. Roularta has more than 60 brands under their umbrella. We will start with their brand Flair to launch these web stories very soon as we finish up the remaining technical work. And we're very excited. We've stress tested already, as you can see here in the screenshot, this solution on their technical test environment. And on all sides, we're very excited to launch this pilot publicly. And to just underline as well how much excitement there is also on Roularta's side, I have here a quote from Erwin Dannes, who's the head of innovation at Roularta Media Group, saying that web stories are the next-gen visual storytelling format for the web, and they're very excited to run a pilot together with us during the next coming months and evaluate the potential. And speaking of potential, I mentioned the white label integration, all this momentum of Stadiem, and the integration with Roularta and all their brands. One thing that we're now also looking at as the next step is, scaling up Zazu to the next level to make sure that we can reach our goals and to reach the entire German and European media ecosystem, and to empower over 1,200 businesses by end of next year. So thank you very much for listening. I have 9 seconds left. If you have any questions about web stories, about Zazu, about our journey, feel free to contact me. I'm always happy to chat. And thank you very much once again for listening.
Fantastic.
I did not have the time for the
No, that's okay.
advice.
That's all right. So we have 4 minutes to ask the 3 gentlemen for your best advice to those that are now in matching phase. What's the most important advice you could give?
I mean, if I think about it a lot, maybe there will also come other advice. But off the top of my head, one of the most important things I would say is to really make sure that what you're building is not a one-off solution that you're developing for one publisher because they need it, but that is something that is actually applicable to the entire market. So we had that problem, for example, in the beginning when we started with Roularta. The first direction we took was very specific towards them. It was only when we actually then started reaching out to other companies and other publishers and we explained them what we did that we realized actually there's a lot of things that we should open up more to the public and make it more scalable so we're not at the end stuck with something that is not replicable in other places. So it was really important for us to get feedback as much as possible and at the same time be very critical about yourselves because obviously you think you're doing the best job and you think you're on the right track, but having other people jump in and tell you that there's other things to look at is very important.
Fantastic. Very good. Thank you so much for that.
Thank
and
you.
I'll grab a microphone there. Maybe could I ask you, Aaron and Vincent, if the process of getting a corporate partner, I think you can remain seated where you are. in the interest of time. So getting a partner on in this context might be different from pitching to a media company under normal circumstances. Is there anything that you would sort of say that, remember this or that, when you try to match up with a corporate partner?
Does anybody hear me? Okay. Yeah, what I'd like to give you as advice, I think you all now are in the match phase of Stadiem, is really leverage the network of the Stadiem partners. For instance, one of the companies that we're working with, SWR, was a direct lead because our mother hub and the NMA connected us with them. So really think about who are your partners, who can they connect us to. Don't try to think beyond your own country. So it's a European program. Think about what's my true ideal customer, and leverage the Stadiem program and the brand Stadiem to be able to get connections and really go all in from a sales and PR perspective in the match phase. Don't sit back and relax, really go all the way when it comes to sales.
Very good. And Aaron, do you have anything to add to that?
Very briefly, I agree, by the way, with both statements, is that if you have to try it, when you make the pitch, you have to try to make something that when you're looking for a partner, that if they don't use it, that they're going to feel sorry that someone else is also going to be using it. That's the important one. So that also ties in to what Zazu was saying. You have to make something that everyone else in their niche can also use. That's very important. Don't make it single purpose. Make it scalable.
Fantastic. I think that's a really good way to round up this session. And as we don't want to be in competition with the other sessions starting right over there now, and also many of you have a meeting now with Marianne upstairs in the Media Lab. So thank you very much for coming and joining us for this session. And thank you for the 4 contributions we have had. Some very powerful stories there. So once again, a big thank you.